Are we ready for AI? Our learners certainly are.
Hi, I'm Casey Wacker. I'm a teacher in a rural community who has the pleasure of teaching ninth graders all the way up to 12th grade and even introductory college courses, both in public speaking and in English. I'm also a technology integrationist, so I have a unique perspective on how we utilize AI in our school system. And I'm here with
Sandra Weiser Matthews, and I work in an urban area, and I work with learners that are getting their masters in either education, like Lane James is getting their masters who've already been teaching, but also people that are somewhat older and have worked in other fields and now are going to be teachers and doing their student teaching. And that is so exciting. And as you know, we really need educators, and we're super excited to have them. So we have this great chance to talk about AI because it is what is going on and it is really powerful. And in our last conversation we had, it was somewhat unplanned, but we realized that we did kind of a show and tell. And in our show, we want to make sure that we offer both some theory and pedagogy, but we also want to actually give you tools to use and so forth. And we were showing a bunch of tools. And then at the very end, we said, well, you had asked one of your students, what do they use AI for? And what did they say? Or how did that happen?
Well, okay, so the conversation was about the syllabus because I was just starting a new term with a new group of kids. And one of my syllabus points is about the use of AI. And it's a really short little blurb. And I sort of just insinuated, like, hey, we're going to talk about this more in class. We end up using AI as a part of our, prep work, our planning and all of this. And one kid's eyes just he goes, but isn't that cheating? Oh, wait, so AI isn't cheating? Or, like that question, that doubt. And I reminded myself in that moment, like, not every kid is using AI the way that I use AI, or not every kid is thinking about AI the way that I think about AI. And so this sort of got us on this pathway to say, like, what are kids saying about it? Like, what do the learners that we see every single day think about AI?
Right. And I can tell you, at least with the people that I work at the college level, they think I just don't think they feel there's this huge need as a teacher to use it. Like as a student teacher, I mean, they think it's helpful and it can save some time, but they don't really think about it in how can they share it with their learners? They're thinking, how can I make things shorter? How can I shorten up my assignment? How can I not work so hard? I'm losing it. I need assistance. And we've always said that AI is an assistant, but they're not maybe thinking about it for their learners. It's for their own. And I think our own students are doing the same thing. They're thinking, how can I shorten the assignment? How can I get through this faster? Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so important that we talk about, again, the values, the ethics. How do you use it responsibly? How do you do it so that you still have character and ethics and you're not just cheating your way through something?
Right.
So then how, I know we found some research on how learners are using AI and what they're finding. And I thought this article was really interesting because to me, these learners are pretty critical thinkers.
Yes.
These
are like your high level students, I think, like honors.
They're don't you think they're cautious?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that was the response. And I think, I want to know if I could have a conversation with the students who responded, and we'll link the article in the description so you could definitely connect with that. But what I found, the general response was AI is a tool that is often misused, or the platforms that are available that use AI technology are misused, and therefore it is a tool that should not be a part of an academic setting, or if it is, it's really scrutinized and like picked apart and used only for this sole purpose. And I thought it was interesting because part of me felt a little bit like the students were led on that path. So they talked about how, they referenced some articles that they had read and some research that they did, which I think is the best place to start, by the way. Like, find out what the conversation is. That's what I like to do with my students. It's like, what are people saying about it? Don't let me tell you about it, right? Because my perspective is totally skewed. I like it. I want to use it. I want my students to use it. But I also have been on the other side where students have abused it and they have misrepresented their work and have turned in items that were like, yeah, that's plagiarized. You did not even cite a single source because you got that information from AI instead of, helping it build up where you had already started. Is just like, take it over. Right. So with that in mind, I feel like this article was really eye-opening for me because it made me feel like students are simply going to regurgitate what it is that we tell them about AI, right? Like, if we give them this negative perspective and we say it is for cheating, which is probably what a lot of my students have heard leading up to my class, then that's the perception they're going to have about it. And then that's how they're going to use it.
And that's why it's so important, again, that we are in charge of this conversation with them and that we do show them, we do practice with them how we'd like to, and if they're more creative than us on how to use it, great. But is it really putting them in the best light? I know that when I work with some people at the college level, it is truly, they want a shortcut. They don't care. In fact, student teachers were like, oh my gosh, there's all these lesson plans. Look how fast it creates a lesson plan. Well, that's great. But remember, they're still a part of you in that lesson plan. And it's no real different than going on and Teachers Pay Teachers or going on the internet and finding it just makes it faster and simpler. But it's not, where are you in that? Where are your strategies? Where is your knowledge about your learners? Where are the connections? What are you doing to make sure all of them are being, given what they need? And just like the learners in the article said, it's not going to give you everything. And it's not as good a tool as I want it to be sometimes, but they're saying they also want it to be faster and simpler. They wanted to have faster, better answers so they don't have to do it themselves. So I just think it's this balancing act of, you have to make sure as a teacher, you are sharing these tools and how you hope that the learners would use them. But if you don't. And
to add on that, I think the important part is to go, okay, we know it's an assistant. Okay. I don't know that I've ever really thought, what type of assistant do my students need? I thought about what type of assistant I need. Right. And that's why I like to outsource some of this work. And you're absolutely right. Like, a lot of my lesson plans come from somewhere else. Right. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. And so we're asking our students, like, oftentimes to reinvent the wheel, right? Instead of thinking of a completely new concept, a new idea. And so it is hard for us to reframe and ask students to do a new task, a new something, a new whatever, knowing that AI could do a lot of the things we're asking them to do. So then, I know we've said this before, but like, why are we asking them to do this thing that AI can do? Right? What part of their learning do they need to be in complete control over? Maintain that, and then build in the AI tools that can serve as their assistant. What do they need an assistant for? And I think every subject needs to think that through.
Yeah. And then when you say, again, like, the learner knows, unless they're younger, but they know they're not maybe good in grammar. They know they're horrible speller. They know they don't get, some part of the structure of a play, or maybe they don't know some part of math. They don't know the scientific method. They don't know something, but they can get help to really guide them along that way. So then that frees them up to do that creation we're talking, not the minutia, not the stuff that they're repeating and regurgitating, that really cream at the top where they can, that's them. That's the really cool creative part that I think that gets us excited ourselves when we go, look at how AI did all this stuff. It took all the time, but look now what we are creating with it, because that stuff is gone. But again,
Exactly.
it's not just a tool. I hate that thought, like, oh, you can just cheat. You can cheat with it.
Sure, but you know what? Google helps me cheat all the time too.
Anytime. That's right.
A calculator helps me cheat all the time too. I mean, we have so many resources that do make our lives easier in our everyday existence. So I just don't understand why we can't be more open to seeing how those little assistants can help us in an educational space and teaching students to be more productive. And it's not just about getting the product. And I say more productive, I don't mean like to get the end result faster. I mean like thinking about their thinking, right? Their metacognition is so much more important than the product in the end. And I think reasoning through how you use AI to help you get to that product is a great metacognitive tool, right? Like, I don't even know if that's a word, but I think like you can use that to help you figure out why you think the way that you think. I don't know. That's just my thought.
No, absolutely. And again, our learners are using AI way more than their teachers are using it. And so again, are we guiding? Are we there? Are we providing strategies and the tools to think about it and the chance to have the conversation, like you said at the very beginning? Let's hear about what you think about it. Like, let it be out in the open. Stop keeping it just as some kind of negative tool or fear. Again, fear, we don't talk about. We don't want to talk about it. And that's the only way that we can ever actually address anything, is to walk through it. Nice to be here walking with you.
Yeah, as always.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you.